Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sub-Auteurs. My name's MJ.
I'm Misha.
And I'm Andrew.
And today we are delighted to be talking about a local film, actually, this time. And first of all, we would like to thank the cast and crew of this particular film.
Woo-hoo!
We're talking about Cleaners.
Woo!
We were able to see, we were actually able to watch this before it was released. So if you're listening to this now, it is now available in multiple streaming platforms such as Upstream, KTX, and Spamflix. So we will be sharing our thoughts on it. And the intro.
Sorry.
Why are you on the floor?
Oh, no. I'm recording in my son's playroom.
He is on the floor. Look at
It's
him.
so random. Anyway, yes, we're talking about Cleaners, directed by Glenn Barit, and it was so delightful, you guys. So it first came out in Q Cinema in 2019, and it's amazing. I don't know even where to begin. It has a lot of awards. It competed in internationally even. So it has accolades from the Youth Critics Circle, Film Desk, and also Pista ng Pelikulang Pilipino, and even Busan International Film Festival in Korea,
Nice.
Taipei Golden Horse Film Festival in Taiwan, and Torino Film Festival in Italy, just to name a few. So we're really building it up here. Cleaners.
No, maybe it deserves to be built up. It was
Yeah,
really
dude.
good.
I have so much love for this movie. Like, it
Yeah.
deserves all the accolades and the attention it's getting.
Yeah,
I just felt
dude.
bad that it came out just when it was winning all the awards and everything, pandemic hit. So like the crew, the cast, they've never actually
Yeah.
been to the bulk of those festivals. They've never gotten the chance to fly out and hear foreign audiences congratulate them for their work. And the work itself is superb. It's ridiculous the amount of love they put into this.
Mhm. So just to give you a little background, it's a coming of age film, and I think what really gets people most is its post-production and how it's all created with so much love and effort. But before we get into that, it's basically about some students, and it's all high school life and stuff, which makes it so wonderfully nostalgic. It's about students from a rural Catholic school, and it's all about different societal pressures. Some get embarrassed, some have to go through the motions of relationships and realities and everything. So it's basically 4 different stories all tied together in the end. So before we get to the stories individually, first thoughts, you guys. No spoilers, but just your initial impressions.
I can't even, it's just this movie's whole visual style was just so unique. It came off very gimmicky at first, but then you just realize that parang it allowed for these characters to paint themselves as the heroes in their own stories, because it's a series of short stories of different characters, right? All tied up together in the end. I don't know. It's just there's just so many. It's a piece of work that you have to see to understand what we're trying to tell you, because it's just so fantastically done. It's not just because it's a gimmicky thing. It doesn't come off as cheesy and pretentious. It just looks so beautiful.
For people who haven't seen it, what Anjo's referring to is the film's presentation, wherein the filmmakers actually took the digital footage they shot and and printed out individual frames at 8 frames per second and hand colored them with highlighters, scanned them back into the computer, and ran it back like animation. So it's like this wonderful, trippy walk down memory lane, which I think works really well for the story being told, because it's about the director, si Glenn Barit, is sharing his experiences growing up in the province in Tagigaraw in the early 2010s. And it really goes into just, sharing a common period in people's lives, regardless of if you grew up in the province or the city. There's something to relate to here. And the presentation really helps that, because and this is something that I've said previously. I read something about the nature of memory, wherein it's not like it's not like Sherlock Holmes, where you have everything organized into different compartments in your brain, and you pull out the memories when you need them. Memory is actually something that you reassemble like Lego every single time that you bring up a memory. That's why sometimes you remember it a little bit differently, or if people who were there, they remember it differently. So here, I really love that the recollections of the director are imperfect in the way that it's being presented, and the use of the color is just fantastic in showing us who we should be focusing on, what their emotional states are. It's just, I'm amazed that he pulled it off.
Yeah, and well, you went really deep into that, and that was beautiful. I was just
I'm sorry.
I'm done. I'm done.
I know. It's okay, tapos na yung podcast. Okay, end credits. Just kidding. But yeah.
Sorry.
I was just thinking it just really fits the high school theme and the whole element of nostalgia, because we all used photocopied notes back then, even high school, maybe early college. We all used those same shades of highlighters.
Yes, we did.
The Stabilo. Stabilo.
RIP UP Shopping Center.
I've tried to figure out kung lahat ng kulay na yun nagamit ko. Oo. Totoo.
Yeah, there was purple. They literally used highlighters, so you could see every frame is really different, and you could just imagine how tedious the whole thing was. But I feel like it really was worth it. It was really worth it not just because of the gimmick. I mean, I found myself watching it. Kasi napapamura talaga ako. Putang ina. Gumagano ako while watching. Not only because of what was happening, which we'll get to later, but it was just like the sheer wrapping my head around the entire process. And we were able to...
In a way, I was kind of thinking that it worked in their favor. There was only 8 frames per second. Imagine if they went for the full 24 or 30.
Oh, Jesus.
The poor people with their highlighters. Matatanggal na yung kamay nila from the effort.
Tumutulo na yung laway nila habang nagkukulay.
You could see nga sa credits, ang dami nila. May isang section na highlighters lang. Ang dami nila. So it's like, props to you guys.
Colorists na ba tawagan? Anyway, pero yeah, which is why I super appreciated the invite to the early screening, because we got to see the parang, like it's pretty sad that we had to do this online. It would have been so great to have seen this on the big screen. But I still appreciate the invite to the private advanced screening, kasi parang they even showed footage of behind the scenes while they were working on the film. Na parang they all were stuck in a room, just hunched over these sheets of paper, coloring with highlighters, and then you see how much. How big or how all the piles of paper were. But I think they also mentioned how many
they said in the Q&A after the screening, it was like 30,000, 40,000 sheets of paper.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
That is wild.
That is crazy.
I can't imagine photocopying that much frames, to color those frames, and then to crumple each and every single frame, and then scanning those frames.
Oh my goodness.
That's just so tedious. Just thinking about it, it's just insane.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it also adds something. What I said earlier, that the presentation really helps to being a representation of the way we tend to remember things. In this case, because I know that there's a lot of people in the last few years especially who have issues watching black and white presentations. But this one, from the way it was done, it just sucks you in. It doesn't alienate you. It's actually quite the opposite for some reason. Just because you can see, it helps that each one was hand colored and you see the individual color strokes.
Yes.
But it draws you in versus saying, I don't want to watch this. This is old. This is black and white. It's not my thing. Pero ang ganda eh.
I think within the first few frames or first few shots of the movie, I was live messaging MJ. In all its
was late.
My laptop was fucking up. Screw you guys.
Anyway, but I was live messaging.
But I paid 199 pesos on Upstream, where all of you can watch it now. So I saw it from the beginning. I saw it from the beginning, and I can watch it over and over again for the next 5 days.
Yeah.
Nice.
And now you know.
Yes. So
And well,
and
well, safe to
I was
say that
like,
Misha was also willing to pay for that. Not just because he was late and missed part of the movie, but yeah, I think it's safe to say that you enjoyed
I'm-
it genuinely to
I
pay
did.
for it.
actually planning to watch this over the weekend with my wife. I think tomorrow. Yeah, because I really want her
Yabang,
to
may wife
watch.
ka lang.
Wow!
Wow! Hindi kasi ako late, man. No, but it's something you really have to watch to appreciate it. And we're not kidding when we say that you will have fun because you just remember a lot of things. You know, as somebody who grew up in the city, as opposed to what people are saying that the director Glenn Barit grew up in the province. He made the theme so universal that it was so nostalgic. As for somebody who grew up in the city, to relate to these characters, because that was probably my favorite part of the movie, is that each and every story that they told, I found myself relating to each main character. Like, you know, I may not have been like the same as a particular character, but there are certain aspects in their story and in their characterizations that I could relate to. You know, like it's, especially growing up, like when you're a teenager, that sense of belonging, that you want to be part of a group. That's one, you know, or trying to live up to the legacy of your family. There's another, you know, so those certain things. So there.
Yes. And so it really goes far beyond just the initial reaction of seeing how amazing the post-production is. So yeah, let's just jump into it. There are 4 stories and maybe we can talk about each one. The first one was about this girl. It starts off really light.
It's so cute.
Sige, let's go. Spoiler town. If you, before we get to that, we'll obviously get into spoilers now. So if you haven't seen it yet, we really do highly recommend that you go watch it.
Please.
on Upstream or KTX or Spamflix. It's already out by now. So you can go back to this after you've seen it because it's really an experience. And we've obviously said many great things about it already. So spoiler down, story number 1. Oh my gosh. It starts off really light. And I think I also like the progression of things, how it starts off light and then maybe gets a little deeper or more serious eventually. But it starts off hilariously.
Like, I didn't know what I was watching at first. The parang, I did, ano bang kwento nito? Like, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And then as the whole story progressed, I was like, putang ina. Okay, gets ko na. Ang babaw niya. But then, you know, nakakaliw siya kasi it's about a girl who you know, just wants to perform, wants to be a star of the show. And then, you know, she's basically trying to get more attention from people. Ironically, that happens for all the wrong reasons. Yes, yeah, exactly. Ironically, when she starts...
And it's nutrition month, so she has an excuse to, you know, show off what she can do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ironically, when she eventually gets to the stage, some hindi bladder, some digestive problems start happening.
Oh no.
It's the other side. It's not the bladder.
No.
Oh my God.
It's the other side. And
It's not one, but 2.
Yes, it's number 2.
Man, that got shitty real fast.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Nobody wants to follow up that joke.
No, I'm just saying.
But yeah, I think the funny thing is this has happened to either us or maybe our classmates at some point in our lives. Because when you're young, you're grade school or high school or younger even, it just happens. You always just hear about somebody accidentally pooping their pants. And I love what this says. Like, yes, this did happen and it is mortifying. It is embarrassing. But you know what? Hey, it happens. Shit happens.
Shit does happen. I think it is
really
more.
happened.
It is more mortifying if it happens to you in high school.
Yes,
Because people in high school are assholes. Like, seriously.
Pun intended. Yeah, so this poor girl, her name's Stephanie. So unfortunately, yeah, something happens during the performance. And this is the first moment, one of the few moments that I am like, thank God this is in black and white right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that in full color, bro.
That's not the only moment I was thanking God that it was in black and white.
Yeah,
But we'll get to that later.
I really love that. Ano tawag doon? I love that they went the whole. They did the whole absurdist thing with this story. It could have been so depressing and so messed up. This first story where she shits her pants on stage, but the direction that they took it, it was just awesomely ridiculous, and I loved every second.
Yep.
And this, it has a moral in the end of that. I love how she is embarrassed. She will forever be known by her batchmates as Tae Girl or something else. But in the end, it worked out in her favor because at first you see her as this neat freak too. In probably in one of her classes, probably THE, where they have to plant plants.
When they have to
science. Plants. Mm-hmm. Yeah, science, maybe. So she's initially always the girl who's super duper grossed out. And I love the irony of her being this neat freak and being grossed out at worms and dirt during her science class. And she poops her pants. And eventually, it works out in her favor because after she takes a shit on stage for everyone to see, she runs and cries to the garden and just releases everything there besides her emotions, everything else that's in her
more
stomach.
Shit.
Yeah,
more shit.
You even see her crying, holding up her soiled underwear. It's so sad, but hey, she got the highest grade in the class because her plant was the healthiest.
Dude, that was like fertilizer. Some super shit. That was super shit. That fucking plant grew up overnight.
It was that I like that first story. I found it really funny and really cute because it was borderline slapstick. You know, that whole sequence where she was running from in the quadrangle just to get to their garden. Parang you could hear all the fart sounds, the sound effects.
I like that she stopped to fart. She's running halfway through the quadrangle and then she stops, farts, and then runs some more.
Yeah, she did stop in the middle. Now I remember that.
I swear, I thought at first, I thought a couple of things, and I'm happy I was wrong. At first, I thought, you know what? Maybe she's pregnant. That's why she's got all this weird thing with eating. And then when she was having trouble on the stage, I thought, is she having her period or whatever, like in Carrie or something? I thought this was going to be like some super heavy coming of age thing. Nope, it was a shit. It was a shit show. It was really a shit show. And it was amazing because her rival does not stop dancing. She doesn't care.
It's like I'm the star now. I'm the star now.
Going. There's people throwing up.
Yeah. One threw up, one just ran off stage. Pero yung alam mo yung pa-star talaga. The show must go on.
And in the end, that bitch joined the dance troupe.
I like the fact that when they look up at the balcony, she was there watching them. She said, "Di ba yun yung tumae? Yun yung tumae." Exactly what high school was like.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunate for her that happened in high school, not earlier. But
it doesn't end on that note, naman. I mean, like it ends on the note where she finally accepted what happened to her. It's just part of life. Like shit does happen.
I think if it happened to her in grade school, then it would be a little more forgivable. But you get to a certain age, you're in high school, you're a teenager, but you think you would control your bowels a little better at that point.
Kinda, yeah.
Well,
maybe.
It happens, so it's okay. I think that's the message of it. I guess it's okay. Like, it happens. You learn from it, and eventually she got over her fixation of being clean. She was okay. She was holding worms at the end. So lesson learned, I guess, for her. Like, I've been through worse. I can
She's
hold
like,
worms
my
now.
shit made you grow, motherfuckers. I mean, really, look at this. But going back to what Anjo said about it being the worst in high school, it's funny how age changes your perspective. It's like, if Anjo's walking down, or fuck it, not even Anjo. If you fall down in the street and people
I want
laugh,
Anjo to be the example. Fine.
If Anjo's walking in the street and he falls down and people laugh at him, that means he's okay. He's still young. But if Anjo falls down the street and people rush to help him, that means he's old. Because, again, age changes your perspective.
Yeah, probably to her, when that happened, it was probably the worst thing in the world. But as adults watching it, it's like, oh, it's okay. Not bad.
Shit happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like the beginning of Pitch Perfect.
Oh my
What
god.
was the beginning of Pitch Perfect?
It was at the
Except-
beginning of
Oh.
Pitch Perfect.
Barfing.
Oh, yeah.
The barf thing.
Oh my
So yeah,
God.
really strong start and it was endearing. But let's get to the second story. It honestly is my
this is my
personal
favorite.
Oh,
This is
I
my
like
favorite.
I like
It's
the second
one is my personal favorite. It's about 3 emo guys. Super,
They're so
complete
on
with
point. They're so
like,
on point when they were
long-
acting.
long ass bangs, eyeliner, skateboarders, and they listen
they go to
to
computers-
My
they
Chemical
go to-
Romance and
They
shit.
go to computer shops to burn CDs. I love that.
I
Oh
like
my
the fact.
God, yes.
I like the fact that they were referencing like, oh ma'am, ito po pakinggan nyo, number 1 pa to sa mix. Like there was a time in high school that we were all
Oh,
listening
yeah,
or
that is
tuning
true.
into mix.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
I'm like, especially that time na parang uso pa talaga like the OPM rock bands of that era were something else. Like
Yes.
the songs they chose for this segment.
Yeah.
I mean, like for this movie in general,
Galing.
like, wow, it just brought up a lot of memories, which is why I really love
Yep.
this because it was the
'Cause-
first one that played the song I was really familiar with, and a
And
band
again-
that I was familiar with.
And again, like because it takes place in the early 2010s, so
Or
it's
late to 2000s actually. 2008 to
2000.
be specific.
Yeah.
So like it's really a time capsule of all this craziness. Like nowadays, you're not
Yeah.
gonna go to a computer shop to burn a CD. You're not gonna hope your favorite song plays on mix. Your teacher's not gonna confiscate your CDs. Alam mo yun? This is all just stuff
so
that
what's the point? I'm sorry, I just had to. I had
Sorry,
to.
can I share during the screening? Sobrang nakakatawa because we on the trailer pa lang, just on the trailer we were super hyped about the music. We had music from Mayonnaise which was from my high school too, which brought back memories.
Mhm.
And also Typecast. And during the parts in the movie when the song was playing, we had our own little group chat, live chatting our reactions. And then I just randomly said, uy, kumakanta na si Anjo. And Anjo legit was scared that he wasn't on mute. I was just saying, I was just guessing that Anjo maybe is singing
I was. 'Cause I was pretty embarrassed. If I wasn't on mute, and everybody on that screening would hear me, like other journalists would hear me, other podcasters would hear me with my singing voice. Oh my God.
Gusto ko yung reply ni Anjo.
Jeez.
Uy, nakamute ako. Paano mo alam?
We will send you the screen cap of that conversation if you want. Just let us know.
Yeah, that
Can
is
I just
dope.
say like
It's
something
hilarious.
that's funny because I didn't do like I didn't do like a bunch of high school here. So looking a lot of my exposure to things like Buwan ng Wika, Nutrition Month, all those things, I've gotten them secondhand. Okay.
Mhm.
But even that being said, just the kinds of characters that are in each of these stories, it's still incredibly relatable because you really do go through that phase where you want to fit in, you want to be the cool kid, you want to be edgy, you want to be different, or you just want to pass the class. And in this case, yung group mate nila who just wants to do the fucking folk dance, they have no interest in following. And she's the
Exactly,
class
so-
president. I deserve respect.
Like I am sure
I found her
Filipinos
to
who
be the
watch this
cutest
movie,
character.
people who watch this movie and grew up in the Philippines and went through high school have heard in their lives their class president say, "Guys, respeto naman oh!"
Actually,
It's
okay.
a line. Oh my
okay.
God. Sobrang sakto.
kasi sa class namin, yung section ko kasi, we were like the worst of our batch. Like, lahat ng troublemakers nasa section
Why am I not
ko.
surprised?
So,
He seems
I
kind of
ne-
proud.
no, I'm just saying, like, I never heard that line from our class president kasi yung class president namin, medyo gago rin.
Okay.
But that was in high school.
Okay,
But that
fair
was in high
enough.
school.
But yeah, we are kind of familiar with that in general. Maybe if you were in a different class, you would have heard it. Guys, respeto naman ah! But nobody listens.
No.
And Also, even just the teacher's comment on the boy's hair, yung ang haba na, yung dapat ganito yung length ng buhok mo, hindi pwedeng mas mahaba.
Sa amin, may ganun kami. Like, kailangan 2x3 white side wall. I mean, 2 fingers on the sides and then 3 fingers in the back.
Yep.
Which the teacher also said. And exactly to the theme of the movie Cleaners, sinasabihan sila lagi na, ang dodongis nyo, ano ba yan? Ang pangit nyo yan.
Kaya aliw na aliw ako kasi, kaya I love this story because it involved emo kids. And back in high school, I was a band guy. Like, I had a band in high school. Parang medyo borderline emo stuff.
Yabang, may banda.
That's high school, man! High school!
I'm kidding.
Feeling ko kung ikaw yung one of the gago students, I would be more similar to their class president friend who they get stuck with in the group. Na parang here are these 3 boys who don't give a fuck. They were just assigned to this, and the class president was, grouped up with them, and she ends up like doing all the wanting to do the work, but they don't attend practice.
I like
Ako yun eh. Ako yun.
I like the fact na yung...
Sumasalo ng mga groupmates ko nun eh.
Okay. The thing is kasi... The thing is kasi, okay guys, for our listeners out there, the story for this segment kasi is parang they're kind of stuck together, and then yun nga, yung emo kids ayaw pang magano. Tapos yun, mag-isa lang nagpa-practice si class president. Yung siya yung nagtitinikling mag-isa. Tapos kinakausap pa niya yung sarili niya.
Yes! I love that she was talking to herself.
Gusto ko yung meron siyang conversation with herself na para, ang bagay mo kasi ito, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, Ay, masakit. Ganun pa siya.
I like that.
I feel her pain.
I like
because
that.
Because of students like Anjo.
No, but like what eventually brings them together, funnily enough, is the combined the joyful thrill of being chased by the police.
Yeah.
Gusto ko yung nung hinabol sila nung police, parang ang galing din niya mag-skateboard bigla.
She's a natural, class president. She's one of our students who can do anything.
Or it could have been adrenaline, like, I don't want to.
But after that, they were all good friends. Like they were giving her their music and telling her what she should listen to. That was so
cute. And gusto ko pa yung she was like, paano ko ba na-confiscate to? Ikaw pala yung nagsumbong. And I love how while they were being chased by the police, she was like, uy, naiwan natin yung mga stick.
Priorities.
Yung concern niya.
Priorities.
I love it.
No,
so,
anyway.
So yeah, they form this very unlikely friendship. And, she starts skateboarding. They lend her their skateboard. But unfortunately, she gets into an accident. Kalesa. Guys, hindi man ng kotse. Kalesa na may close-up sa mukha niya at may close-up sa mukha ng kabayo. Sobrang ganda.
Tapos back then, syempre, yung mangyayari in the next scene is to find out what happens to her. So, and along with the characters, is they all get the text message na alam natin na, uy, namatay na bigla si Angeli.
And I love that it's actually a text message.
Yun nga, text message.
As in, nakalagay na, GM.
GM.
Message.
Tapos them being emo kids and they, gusto ko yung emote scenes nila eh. Napaka-unique for each one eh. Yung isa parang umiikot-ikot, yung nagdadabog-dabog mag-isa, yung isa yung nakaupo lang sa bintana.
Right.
With their deadpan expressions, tapos biglang may single tear.
Oo. Tapos nung magkasama silang tatlo, nagsashot sila ng Yakult.
They're so edgy.
Tapos parang lasing, umaalting parang lasing. Oh my God.
When he cleared the table, when he wiped it clean.
Yeah.
Just tossed everything.
There's just so much juvenile charm and innocence in this movie na parang kahit anong gawin nila na mukhang sobrang baduy or matatawa ka tsaka may in love ka sa characters talaga eh.
And if I remember, you also had a similar experience.
Yeah, I did mention this to you guys after watching the movie. And it happened in college though. We had a classmate in college who who people said passed away through a group message like this. So it resonated with me. I remember that.
Wait,
So,
it's not funny, but it is.
it's funny now. Because I remember how his best friend reacted, like she was crying, and that was in the middle of the day during a school day. I think like a Thursday or a Friday, and then we just all get a message saying this guy passed away. We were like all shocked because we just saw the guy like the day before. So we see his best friend. She was like crying her eyes out, like she couldn't, almost inconsolable. Later that day, we see him in school. It's like,
how dare you be alive? How dare you?
Thank God he's alive. So we messaged his friend to tell her like he's in school. It's not true. Like some fucking asshole just decided to play a prank on everyone.
That's so fucked up.
It's really fucked up. Like if you're on the receiving end of a message like that, saying like somebody in your classmate passed away, that's fuck.
Wait, what did he say though?
It's like, uy, si ganito ganyan. Was pronounced dead today. Please offer a prayer. Ganyan.
What did the guy say? What did the dead guy say?
Dead guy.
Sorry,
not dead guy.
No, parang he just walked in. He's like, hey guys, ganun lang, casually. And we're like, oh, you're here. It's like, what happened to you? And he's like, what's happening? Why is everybody running at me? He's like, no, because people were messaging us that you died. It's like, what the fuck? He was like, who the fuck would say that? Why? It's just one of those dumb ass things. Dumb kids in college. I don't know.
But yes, thankfully.
Wala pa kasing Instagram nun eh. Or Instagram stories at that time.
Yeah. And thankfully, Anjali is indeed alive, only a sprain from the incident. And it's so cute how the three boys go on over to her house and they're just crying. And she wakes up, they're just sulking in the corner and like, huy! And they were crying and they were like, sorry na, kasalanan namin. And this whole adorable friendship. And gusto ko yung umiiyak sila pero silang tatlo yung magkayakap. Pero si Anjali nasa gilid lang. Parang,
Yes, they all got into her bed like Frodo's boyfriends. They all got into her bed and they had a group hug na hindi kasama si Anjali.
And they're just crying.
Gusto ko yung ginawa nila, yung parang, kasi parang, di ba, before Anjali, they showed yung mga antics nila as a group, di ba? Yung, they would go skateboarding, they would listen to music, tapos yung magpapa-studio pick, kasi di ba uso yung studio pick no?
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Right? So, di ba? Gusto ko yung nag-studio pick sila, tapos meron siya, they held up their fingers that spelled out the word emo. Yung parang,
yes!
Letter E-M, tapos yung O, yung tatlo sila, tagi-isang letter. Tapos when they actually became friends with Anjali, iba na yung spell out nila, love na. Sobrang panalo. I found that so cute.
So cute!
So funny.
And
so
I don't know,
talaga.
but for whatever reason, the fact that they used orange for the emo kids just made it funnier. I'm sorry. I'm just laughing so much because they got the eyeliner on, but they're all in orange. So this is awesome.
We haven't mentioned the best part of this movie yet. Pagdating nung linggo ng wika, they decided to perform for Anjali's sake. Right? So they were going
stage.
Oh my God!
Going on stage, they were going to dance to Tinikling. Sabay yung music nila. Sabay yung music nila. Drum roll, please. Typecast.
Deadpan sila lahat.
Ay, no. Tapos yung sayaw yung panalo eh. Yung parang pagka-emo yung sayaw, tapos magtitinikling sa gitna, tapos babalik sa pagka-emo.
Tapos nakamarong sila.
Oo.
Ganda. And I love
orange.
how the crowd went wild. Of course, all the grown-ups were like, what the hell? What the hell are these kids doing? But everyone
I would cheer the shit out of that.
Pero sa school namin, may teachers kami na fans ng Dicta License.
No,
well, yung isa
cool.
kasi kabarkado ni si Pochoy Labog. So,
wow, cool.
Yeah.
Wow, name drop.
Oo nga eh.
Yung teacher namin.
Yabang.
So parang medyo astig yun.
Pero that's good. And can I just say that something I liked about like the performances here is that it all seems it's more natural because a lot of them aren't even like professional actors. So this is like their first time being in front of the camera and all that. And it just adds a lot because they're so unself-conscious, you know?
Yeah.
It was so natural and authentic.
Yeah, and if you remember...
all of them weren't professional actors yet.
Yeah, and if you remember the Q&A, one of the emo boys, or the actors, was like, oh, how he got casted? Oh, he was just walking by a mall and there was this casting called like a sign. And he was just like, oh, I signed up because in the poster there was My Chemical Romance and I like My Chemical Romance. So I auditioned.
Yeah. So parang genuine talaga.
Sobrang genuine.
Ang ganda eh.
Hey, that was my question.
Yabang, may question. What?
Bakit ikaw nahiya ka magtanong eh?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
So yeah, that was it really gave you the warm fuzzies, especially with this like unlikely friendship kind of thing.
It really did.
I love this the most is because I like stories where unlikely friendships occur. Parang,
Me too.
I find it really cute eh. Na parang, it's something that that happens in real life. You know, like I find myself friends with people that I never knew I would, you know, at first glance would be friends with. So parang, oh, okay. It's why this particular story talaga resonated with me. Especially na parang yun nga, band geek pa ako. Band boy pa ako back in high school. Tapos yan, emo music din. Tapos, you know, there's that, you know, that warm, fuzzy story of unlikely friendships happening na sobrang cute pa. And it helped with the acting, the performances of the actors as well.
Something I liked also is that the movie doesn't paint anybody in a negative light. It doesn't say that any one of these characters is better than the other. It just presents them all as just natural, regular people that you'd find in any high school.
Yeah. So,
That's why it's so relatable.
Exactly. It's basically like a slice of life thing.
Yes.
Like, this happens to everyone.
If you weren't one of the kids, you knew somebody at least like that.
Yes.
So there's that. Okay, so the third story is very interesting. This is the love story, puppy love kind of like angle here. And I really liked it too. It was a little heavy.
It was.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is where the progression starts into like deeper,
darker
issues.
themes.
Yeah. So this it starts out with a boy named Francis who has always been teased for being. I think you guys better explain it. You can explain it better. You have those parts. You can explain it.
Support in short just means uncircumcised. So me coming from an old boys school pa, you know, so parang it's considered an insult, you know, to be uncircumcised. Parang,
yeah, I guess that's the long and the short of it.
I guess if you're nice one.
I'm sorry to cut in.
Oh my God. Yeah, we'll get to that at some point.
I'm sorry, somebody had to bring it up.
Yeah, you just need to stroke a little bit.
Oh my God.
Okay, you ruined it. You just ruined it.
Anyway, yeah.
So, there is Francis who is always teased as being uncircumcised, which apparently is an insult here in our culture. So yeah, okay.
And patriarchal, insecure idiots.
Yeah, but you go to Europe, it's completely fine.
Yeah, that's true. And actually, funny that you mentioned it. This is also a very fucking patriarchy kind of story. So Francis, Francis likes this girl. Her name is Brittany. Yes, Brittany. You know, there are some rumors going around about Brittany that she's, you know, been caught with her ex-boyfriend, you know, fucking somewhere in a Chinese cemetery or something. You know, like how rumors go around. And it's so funny how like the popular girls are like sharing this gossip while they're in mass. So parang, wow. Pinagpilian yung lugar ng pagchichismis nanonood si Jesus.
He's probably listening too.
Oh my God. Yeah, so he overhears and everything. And he feels bad for her, especially since, she's not with that guy she's been caught with anymore. But, he decides to kind of like make a move, try to pick her up in his motorcycle. But, Brittany being probably traumatized from everything, all the gossip. And so she just like wants to keep to herself. But, this is so cute how he just keeps trying to like woo her despite all her walls being up. And I think that's just like such a sweet effort on Francis's end.
I have a question though. I have a question about the motorcycle thing. How old are you allowed to drive one of those things?
We probably wouldn't know because we didn't grow up in the province. They probably could have been doing that.
Well, my cousins, I whenever I'd go to the province naman when I was younger, we would go to Ilocos once in a while. Like probably a couple of times a year. My cousins were riding motorcycles. So it's not, I don't think it's that big of a deal there.
Mm-hmm.
So I know.
Okay, just checking.
So yeah. So yeah, she's all closed off. He even asks her out to prom.
That was so cute.
And it's so adorable. He sends her flowers. He brings her up to this rooftop with like candles and a small little picnic. But Brittany, just despite being, touched by all the effort, is just closed off. And then later on,
because she was touched by Kevin first.
Yeah, but
sa likod
later
ng Chinese
on,
cemetery.
Sa loob ng Chinese cemetery.
Sa loob pala ng Chinese cemetery.
Wala silang pera pang check-in.
Oh my, they're in high school!
Look, they were talking about it in mass.
And sa banyo, by the way, there's another scene in the banyo, which that gets ko.
I love that.
Gets ko yun. Alam mo yung parang may tao nasa loob ng cubicle, may nagchichismisan sa loob, tapos paglabas ng tao, tahimik lang.
It's like, narinig ko lahat.
Mas malala yun kasi di ba hindi nila alam si Britney nandun, di lang lumabas ng banyo.
Isa pa yun.
Oh, poor Britney. But yeah, unfortunately, because of this whole rendezvous with her ex, Britney is pregnant. Mm-hmm. That's why she's so closed off.
And she's getting expelled, but the guy who knocked her up is not.
Exactly.
So
fucking patriarchy.
He even gets to go to prom. He's not even punished at all.
Yeah.
It's like they're in Texas where the pregnant woman has to pay for it.
Oh, God. Yeah, I felt so bad for Britney. Because, like, really, if anything, the guy should have been expelled.
They should have both been equally accountable for not just her.
I felt kind of bad for Francis also because, he has to pay for the sins of Kevin, basically. Parang they're being denied their potential happiness because of something that some asshole did. And naging collateral damage si Francis unwittingly.
Yeah, but I like the fact that he, he stood up for her. Parang he was, at that point in time, he was just ready to accept the baggage that came along with her.
What Francis does to put Kevin in his place, that is a power move.
On so many levels.
That's a power move.
Would you want to explain to our listeners?
Okay. So Kevin's in school, right? Francis just got dumped because his girlfriend Brittany can't deal with being with him because she's pregnant, she's being expelled, while this asshole gets to go to prom to Kevin, and he has no consequences whatsoever. So Francis goes there, they're yelling at him, they're calling him supot and whatever. He starts a fight, his bag gets busted open, he pulls out a pair of scissors, unzips his pants,
pulls down his pants.
They're all looking at him, they're like, what the fuck? And he snips off his foreskin right in front of him.
Thank God this movie was made in black and white.
And then in that same shot, you got your Kill Bill geyser of blood flow.
Oh, shit.
And then, just as Kevin and his goons are looking at Francis like, what the fuck? I mean, I don't know. I think they've never seen a penis before, the way they were acting about it. Or maybe they were all in love with him and they got issues. But they were all just staring at this man, cutting his foreskin off. And the biggest BDE move, he just chucks that foreskin in Kevin's face and it smacks him right in the mouth.
You couldn't even see the blood spatter on his face.
At which point, Francis passes out from shock and blood loss.
Not after. Wait, what's the name of the Kevin and
his friends? They all run away because they're like, dude, the guy cut off a piece of his penis. What else can he do? He's crazy. I'm not gonna fight that guy.
Power move, yes, but
power move.
At least di na siya supot.
See, you're part of the problem. Using that as a derogatory. You're part of the problem.
Let me rephrase that.
Kaya pala
Let
nasa
me
bad boy
rephrase
class si Anjo, no?
Let me rephrase that. At least hindi na siya tatawaging supot.
There you go.
Oh,
There.
good save. Look at you.
But
Hindi naman bad boy class. It's just makulit lang kami. We were always in the... Grabe naman to mong sisi.
coming from the uptight overachiever in high
But
school.
okay, I gotta go back to something that I said before. It's like, can we just please watch a local film that doesn't have a prosthetic penis in it for once? Why do we gotta keep doing this to ourselves?
Oh god, the last one we reviewed was Fangirl.
Are we doing this on purpose at this point?
Oo nga, no?
I mean,
Open na naman.
with what word most of us usually use to sound check, I mean, it says a lot. But anyway, moving on.
Our listeners don't know. So,
Just fun fact. Now you know.
fun fact. Now you know.
Again, this is not a reflection on the filmmakers of these films. We greatly enjoy your work. It's just, it'll be nice, to watch something without a prosthetic penis. Just once.
That's our fault, I think.
Yeah, that's our fault.
Wait
Okay,
a minute. Before this, MJ had been the only one who had seen the film prior to this.
Mhm. Yes.
And she refused to answer us if there was any nudity. She's like, you'll see. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, technically, it's not nudity.
Technically, it's not. I was
Technically.
I was just thinking of the general cuteness of everything when answering that question. So I don't think I even remembered.
I don't think it's nude.
No, no, joke lang. I wanted you to be surprised.
Of course you did. Yeah, Kevin was surprised. Fuck. Nobody was more surprised than Kevin. That is a hell of a power move. So Francis wakes up. It's been, maybe a day or two. And Brittany's there. And she brought him a fine selection of skirts that he may wear for his recovery period. And it was just the
So
sweetest thing. The sweetest damn thing.
Yes, it was. I like
what
the
I
fact that she
really
had
love-
to ask him pa. Kamatis na ba?
Probably something circumcised boys have heard in their lifetime. But anyway, something I really loved about this part also was all the cute lovey-dovey scenes between Brittany and Francis. Because it was so adorable. Alam mo yung nandun sila sa hotdog stall, nagsishare sila ng footlong, sumasakay siya sa motor ni Francis.
And then when they
Sobrang
broke up, he had to eat his sandwich by himself.
I know!
Yung footlong hotdog niya.
But he can only take 6 inches at a time.
Nisha.
Hinati niya. Ano ka ba?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You people
But
with dirty, dirty minds.
Anyway, I also love how it ended, how they just are on that motorcycle. And this is one thing I really love about the whole treatment of the film. Since it's colored in highlighter and basically also treated as animation, they can go crazy with the little doodles that they can add. So you could see the colors, like Brittany was in bright pink and Francis was in blue. So you see at the end of it with the perfect song by Mayonnaise playing, them just going across the countryside in the motorcycle. Tapos lumalaki yung colors nila. Parang may circles na lumalaki.
Nag-blend.
Na lumalaki.
Yung at some point, naging purple na silang dalawa.
That was great. That was just great.
Tapos to reflect all those feelings na parang, yung high school puppy love na parang...
And then Rocket 2 kicks in.
Sinabi ko! Anyway, sorry.
No, please do. Anjo's about to.
Okay na, I had typecast. Sa kanya!
Sobrang ganda. That ending was just so adorable. It's like they're bursting with love.
It really was. And I was so happy for them that at that point, when they knew they were together, they were strong together, they didn't give a shit what anybody said or thought about them. They were walking through the school. Kevin looked like a loser on the side. Junjun had an obligatory cameo. Junjun is in every fucking story in this.
Yeah, he's like the one character.
We'll get to Junjun.
Isn't he the one character who wraps everything up? He's in every story.
I'm happy for Francis and Brittany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Screw
They
Kevin.
just look, fuck Kevin.
It's like
Yeah.
Kevin,
That's expelled.
K-Fed and Brittany broke up.
But you know what's
Oh,
funny?
nga, no? Kevin and Britney, gago.
Yeah.
Ngayon ko lang na-realize.
Don't you
Ang
wish somebody would chuck their foreskin at Kevin Federline?
Ang ganda! Sorry.
So yung
Ngayon ko lang
mga,
na-realize.
di ba, mga Britney fans, guys, watch this
Yeah.
movie.
How did I not see this? Okay, you can revoke
I'm
my vote.
surprised.
I know, you can
I'm also
revoke my
surprised.
vote, fan card.
I'm
Oh my
also
God,
surprised.
I'm so... Shame on me. Shame on me.
Alright.
So, let's finally get to Junjun. Who is this Junjun? And why does he pop up in all of the other stories?
Yes, we need to address the Junjun in the room.
Anyway, Junjun is the son of the mayor who is also running for SK chairman, which is Sangguniang Kabataan, which is like the youth sector.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
That's-
running.
Yep, that's where you learn corruption at an early age in this third world country of ours.
Yeah. Yes, here is Junjun wanting to live up to his family's legacy, and his mom is the mayor and, political family and whatnot. But then while he's doing that, he realizes that even at the smallest of sectors in government, tada, corruption. No, vote buying. This is when his mother gives him a wad of cash
Mm-hmm.
and asks him to put it into envelopes for him to give out
Mm-hmm.
at that age in high school.
Yep, pretty much. And he's all like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. This is how it's done. And his mom was telling him, okay lang yan. Don't think of it na masama yan. Kasi think long term. Like, holy God, this is horrible. I had a classmate before in UP Manila, and she was telling us how in their area, yung SK nila, basically they used all the funds of the community and they bought themselves a car, and that's what they would go around in.
Fuck.
Wow.
Right? Because think about, you're in high school. Oh, look at you. You got a car. Wow, you're hot shit.
And that's what's messed up about it too, is how the mom would justify it as it's an investment in your future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they drop a lot of, that's just how it is. It's like something you just really gotta accept.
And they
which
open
is
up
sad.
Yeah. And then they open up that segment by showing the bridge that their family apparently helped lay down and connected the province to the bigger area. So it's something that he would have to continue as part of his legacy. But, to get there, he'd have to he'd have to buy votes. He'd have to do stupid things like build basketball courts so people would remember his name and put his face on holiday greeting posters because, that's really what we pay them for.
Let's
Exactly.
get to the basketball court part of the story. Like, wasn't that the land that that they gave him to build the basketball court on was being borrowed by his best friend's family for a small
Yes.
pansiteria?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what's fucked up because they again justify it as collateral damage,
Mm-hmm.
Collateral
which is so
damage.
fucked up because this is a family's livelihood.
Yes.
And mababalitaan na lang ng mga kabarangay nila, ay, nasusunog yung pansiteria ni Manong ano.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't an accidental fire.
Not at all. Not at all.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
Especially when that scene when that was happening, when that was supposedly happening, the scene was when the chief of police was talking to Mayora and the parents
They
and
were
him and right and laughing.
they were just laughing and celebrating. And what's actually sad is that Junjun joined them and started laughing too, fully knowing that, it wasn't an accident. So that's like, fuck, that's sad. And I also kind of want to bring up that time when he and his best friend, after school, they had spray paint, and best friend just like, hey, let's vandalize stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go around town. It's 3 a.m. As you do as a young kid. And he's like, tatakbo akong SK, basta di ako, as long as I
Hindi
don't
ako
get
pwede
in trouble.
magkaroon ng kaso.
Exactly. So, but he still goes in anyway and they vandalize the town. A penis included. Can I just say, hindi talaga din mawawalan ng tite sa graffiti.
Ayun yung pinakahuling drawing, di ba?
Yeah. He even wrote it out.
And it's like, typical high school boys. My God, there always has to be a penis. And we're back to penises. But yes, I was just pointing it out. And yeah, they get caught eventually. Tapos mamaya, they're at the police precinct, and Junjun's dad just comes in and just talks him out of it. And he gets away with the shit, not even with a slap on the wrist. And
Nope.
he's even asking his dad, like, hindi ka ba galit? Like, hindi. Okay lang yan. He's like, I got you. It's not in the blotter. It's okay. So,
Anak nga kita.
Sana sinabi mo yung
exactly.
apelido mo nang mas maaga. Di kanina ka pa nakauwi, di ba? Like,
Yeah,
Jesus
exactly.
Christ.
So it's just like it's not even just like the lack of accountability at all in this family. It's just like disgusting to just know that at that level this exists. This is real. Parang,
like those are like one of the themes, the sobrang blatant din, eh, diba? But I wanted to touch on the theme of parang, like as a teenager, like trying to identify who you are in this world, and then while supposedly trying to live up to the expectations of your parents. But that was one of the takeaways I got from this segment naman, kasi I could really relate to it the most, siguro, na parang, the pressures of trying to live up to a family business, in their case, which is in politics, diba? Like, that's just something na parang heavy. Like, it's a lot of pressure that parang if your family expects something, expects so much from you, na parang you'll continue to live the legacy, or live up to the legacy of what the family has been doing for years. It's just something na parang nakakabaliw siya, which is why siguro Junjun up to a point, just has this moment of clarity when he's alone, diba? Like, kasi parang he's being rewarded for many things. He gets to, he gets bailed out of things, and people expect so much from him na parang sometimes he just loses himself.
He gets 2 new cell phones. A BlackBerry and a Motorola flip phone, which was hot shit back then.
May question ako. Mas nauna ba yung Motorola flip phone sa BlackBerry?
Same. I think.
Yeah, it was just really cool because it was all flashy and everything. And you were like,
and it's what you see in Gossip Girl.
I kind of miss my BlackBerry.
That and the T-Mobile Sidekick.
I miss my Motorola flip phone.
I miss my BlackBerry.
I think the BlackBerry was the lightest damn thing I ever had, honestly.
Oh, shit, nauso pa yan nun. Grabe. Remember when we just all wanted BlackBerries just so we could BBM each other?
Yeah. But in this case, so si Junjun has his moment of clarity. He realizes that it's not the path that he wants to take for his life. It's a little bit on the nose because, we see him at the end of the bridge that his family built for years and years and years.
That.
I liked it too. I liked it that you're showing exactly that this shit ends with him, unless he has a corrupt child. I don't know. But I like that bit. I actually liked that bit of him on the bridge. It weighed more heavily on me than the bit where he gives the money to the family of his friend.
Oh, that was really sweet.
It really was. It really was.
It also threw me on for a loop before we get to that ending that we see, since vandalism and everything, eventually you see all the posters of his family, even his face, were vandalized with spray paint.
Yes.
So their face is blacked out, mustaches and everything. And you would expect it to be the best friend because they had an argument about this whole thing. So you'd think it's the best friend.
Called him out, right?
Yes, he did.
Because his best friend did. And you'd think that, this was the best friend because 1, he's not happy that his friend's doing this. And 2, his fucking family's business burned down because of what they plan to do for the basketball court. But I love the twist at the end where it's actually Junjun who did it. You see him by that bridge next to the cans of spray paint. I was like, oh shit, si Junjun yun.
Yes.
Yeah, good on you, Junjun.
Like I said, that's
so
why
proud of you.
I really like that. That's why I didn't need to see him give the bag of money to the friend. Kasi kita mo na he's not gonna go that way anymore, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe they just wanted to really.
But I'm not gonna lie, I liked seeing their faces because the POV was from the inside of the bag of money when they opened it. And then you can see their faces when they realize what the hell they're looking at. And yes, they can open another pansiteria. On that note, I fucking hate the translation for pansiteria is noodle shop. It just sounds weird. It just sounds weird. It's like when you translate bibingka into rice cake, parang may nawawala somehow.
It's something that can't really be translated into any other language. It's very distinctly Pinoy.
I agree.
Noodle shop. Yeah, because when you say noodle shop, I'm thinking maybe Chinese.
Or ramen? Or are we just
Mm.
racist in our perception of noodles?
No, I mean,
I think it's just because we're more inclined to know a pancit as pancit or pancit
Yeah.
talaga.
But to any other foreigner, they would call it a noodle shop.
That's true. Kasi pancit is its own magical thing. It's not like, hey, you want some noodles? Hindi, pancit yan eh. Does that make sense?
like-
yeah.
Pancit is like for special occasions, for celebrations and whatnot. Diba?
Birthdays, which you really have to eat for the person to have a long life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's a cultural thing.
I guess.
Well,
But-
it's a Chinese cultural thing because pancit was adapted from Chinese culture. Sorry, just geeking out on that because we actually had that for history lessons.
It's okay.
And you're Chinese. And
Yeah.
you're also Chinese.
Yeah, you're Chinese. You can say whatever the hell you want. We can't.
I'm half Chinese.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love how this is a statement. Even though how many times the adults say, ganito talaga eh. This is just the way it is. Junjun puts his foot down and says, no,
Mm-hmm.
it ends with me.
No.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I love
I'm
that.
gonna
That's
do
why I
this
love-
on my own terms.
That's why I love him
Yeah.
at the end of that bridge and like, you know what? Fuck this legacy bullshit.
And to think that this is also in the very Philippine context of like, we know how fucked up things are. And, it goes deep, 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 deep. But that in itself is already such a bold move given how innately corrupt our government already is. So, sobrang strong statement talaga siya. And I really applaud that.
Yeah. It was
And
so
it's
simple but powerful.
Yeah.
which
And
is-
it even matters more that this is the youth. This is the
Absolutely.
youth putting their foot down, wanting to have a better future.
trying to
so-
stick it to the man.
Yeah,
stuff.
I just love
Diba?
that. I love that.
Let's talk
So-
about the ending.
Yeah.
Let's talk
So
about the
cathartic.
ending. Exactly right. That's the
So
only word for it, really.
Cathartic.
Because the ending is like a bookend. It mirrors the first one, wherein, after class, and this is a very Asian thing. Sorry, all you Western people. This is an Asian thing where there's a designated a person or persons who have to clean up the classroom at the end of the day for that week or for that day. And there they are. That's how the movie opens. They're cleaning. That's also how it ends. But then, exactly what MJ said, we have our moment of catharsis for
Yes.
all of the characters that we just spent time with.
Technically,
Yep.
they weren't cleaning anymore.
No, they were just screaming, really.
Favorite kasi Francis.
Screaming,
Uh-huh.
Favorite kasi Francis.
messing up the whole classroom, flipping
Francis
the
peed
chairs.
on the wall. Francis was like screaming his lungs out while peeing on the wall. It's like,
And it was him because it was blue.
yes!
Hindi,
He
gusto
had
ko
royal
yung
piss.
gusto ko si Stephanie ba yun? Yung she was like, yung dalawang eraser, pero pinupukpok niya together, tapos may powder, tapos sumisigaw lang siya.
Oo nga.
I love that
Buti wala
part.
siyang asthma, no?
Pero parang nagwawala lang siya with the eraser. Parang,
Cute yun.
just like looking at that, I was like, allergies! May allergies!
Gusto ko rin yung emo kids eh. Yung parang, sino ba yung may pinunit siya na like, like a poster from the
Yeah.
bulletin board. And then knelt down na parang nanalo siya from a football match.
It's so incredibly cathartic with all these kids screaming out their frustrations.
I also,
Stephanie probably screaming about her embarrassment or like all these rules they have to conform to. It's
Yep.
just so...
I like the parang they all understood that they all were going through something and they had that moment of release for everyone. And that was the best part was it was juxtaposed with the birth of Britney's kid
Exactly.
Yeah,
So she was
ganda
screaming
nun.
too.
for different
Except
reasons.
What she was letting out was like, a human.
Life.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Which was
Fair.
really a really good way to end it, honestly, because it just
Yeah.
brought everything together. The students
It
of Four
did.
Rizal just screaming their brains out.
Mhm.
I have a question for you, MJ. Kasi diba, what were the names of your sections back in high school?
Hindi, baduy kami. A, B, C, D,
Ay,
E, F.
Oo nga pala. Kasi nung
Baduy
grade
kami.
school, no, yeah, I remember now. Kasi I know we had Saints pala.
I also
We
had Saints.
We still had Saints in
Yeah,
high school.
I had Saints in grade school though.
Mm.
No, we were just like letters. Baduy.
No, but it was easier to just write the letters. Like, where are you from?
Mm.
Oh, 4I. Okay.
Alam ko kasi usually, if I remember correctly, yung A when in high school, we were all like divided na eh. Parang yung A, yung honors class, yung B, siguro yung maraming extracurricular. So, alam mo yung para kung sabay-sabay, kung may event man lang or like orchestra, maraming absent, at least buong class na wala. Alam mo yun? It made sense at the time.
Yeah.
So, wala lang. Share ko lang. But yeah, something we absolutely loved about this movie in general is just like the general feel of nostalgia and wanting to be kids again.
Mm-hmm.
That's really something that resonated with all of us. Like,
I think yung pinaka maraming messages na nakuha natin in our group chat while watching the movie was like, sarap maging bata ulit eh.
Yeah. And although these problems might have been like at some point in their life, the end of the world for them, you just like remember how much these things change you and really stick with you even through adulthood. Like you're watching this probably in your 30s and the music is also something that reminds you of high school. So it's just really this great nostalgia trip, man.
But you know, for everybody who is looking back on their high school days and wondering what happened to me, Steve says it's okay. You do you.
Steve!
You're looking great. Whatever you're doing, it's working and it's okay. I'm like, God damn, Steve.
I never thought I needed those words from Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because he just left without telling us.
No, he kind of left. No, he said he was going to college.
Yeah.
It was so sudden.
Like out of the damn blue. But then again, you don't really look for continuity in Blue's Clues.
You just
anyway.
That's not what we're talking about.
I'm sorry. No, look, okay. What I really loved about the movie is that it took us back in time. Yes, it was a wonderful time capsule, but because of the presentation, it's easy to plug yourself in there. Like everybody's the hero of their own story, so it doesn't matter if like the background surrounding the lead characters is a little bit out of focus or scratchy or black and white or whatever, because it lets you concentrate on the narrative. That's one, and the other thing is that what I liked also is it felt real. It felt real, and that's what made it relatable versus something that you're watching that obviously a bunch of 40, 50-year-old people who are so out of touch wrote because they think that's how teenagers talk. Like, God damn, I just saw He's All That. I don't know why I did that. But, you know, it's just really sad. You can tell when something's heartfelt, when something's authentic. And honestly, I think that's something that the team, the writers, the filmmakers behind Cleaners nailed. Absolutely. It's got heart and it shows. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's hard to follow, Misha.
I know. I was about to say,
I'm sorry.
we can end with that.
And we can end the podcast episode with that.
That's it.
Oh wait, before we end the show, we do highly recommend this movie. It is available in various streaming platforms. Available on MJ, please.
Wala akong kodigo, ano?
Wala akong kodigo eh. Upstream is the only site I know because that's where I'll be watching.
Stream, KTX, and Spam Flicks. Okay, so this is definitely something you don't want to miss. We've already mentioned all the awards. And I do believe back then at the screening, they mentioned also that it is currently the #1 reviewed film on Letterboxd.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
So you guys will have to check this out. It's critically acclaimed.
Please do. And really send some love to the director and his team. Congratulations to Glenn Barit. Fantastic. Thank you to Ben for remembering us.
Yay, Benny. Thank you.
We love you, Ben. Thank you.
Love
Attorney.
You, Ben. So, yeah, it's just beautiful work of art, really. Honestly, I can say that it is probably one of my favorite coming of age films.
Yes.
It's not cheesy, it's not cliche. It's not, like what Misha said, doesn't sound like an adult wrote it and just had casted younger people to just play it. No, it is genuinely something that you can relate to no matter what age you are.
And one more thing, one more thing also is that I think because we're just so conditioned to imagine high school on the movie screen as like from the American point of view.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or from the School of Witchcraft and Wizardry point of view. We had a good 8 years. These are all valid points, I guess. But it's
had a good 8 years with that.
It's different seeing it from something that you can actually relate to, you know?
Yes.
Yes. Representation, representation, especially for the rural communities here in the Philippines, because that was something also brought up by people in the forum in the screening.
Yes.
That I was so glad to have related to this because this is exactly how it was when I was in high school in the province. And
before we end that, it's nice that you mentioned about rural representation, but it does not alienate for kids who grew up in the city. Because what's amazing about this movie is that Glenn Barit, the director, was able to write about stories that people can relate to. It's universal for everybody who grew up in the Philippines, or not even in the Philippines. It's universal for everybody who grew up in high school. You know.
And a testament to that is how successful it was internationally.
Yes.
You have even if they didn't have like, you know, uniforms, buwan ng wika, things like that.
Yeah.
Everybody goes through high school.
It is the most authentic thing, the most authentic movie you will ever watch. One of the most authentic movies you will ever watch. So we highly recommend this. Cannot say more good things about it. I'm all out of words for this movie.
Actually, I could go on and on and on and on still, but that's all the time we have. But, take our word for it, guys. If there's anything you take our word for, it's this movie. Don't listen to all our other opinions. Fuck all our other opinions. No, just kidding. But yeah. Cleaners. It is out by now once again on KTX, Upstream, and Spamflix. Please watch it. Throw your money at them.
Yes.
They deserve it.
Show some love for the filmmakers by hashtagging CleanersFilmPH.
Yes, and maybe help them with their carpal tunnel treatments from all the highlighting. I don't know. I hope nobody.
You know what they should do now? They should sell those individual frames.
Ooh.
Like they should sell that as memorabilia. I'm not
Ben,
even kidding.
if you're listening, yes.
Before some jerk decides to do it himself,
I'll buy one.
and just Xerox copies and then color it and then pretend it was used in the movie.
I'll buy one of the frames where Kevin and Brittany were on the motorcycle and their colors were blending.
Oh, damn it! I wanted that one.
Marami yan. Diba 30,000 plus sheets of paper yun.
You don't want a frame of the poop tree? Come on!
No!
No, thanks.
I love that stupid thing grew up and it still had the panties hanging off the side. It was ridiculous. It was just so fucking ridiculous.
Actually, parang gusto ko yung close-up ni Angeli bago siya masagasaan.
Yun din,
I want two of the, I want the shot of the horse and I want the shot of Angeli. I'll put them side by side. Because the horse was having none of it, I swear. Wait.
You're not getting out of my way. I'm gonna trample you.
I also want the shot of the emo boys doing the finger signs.
Tickling.
So much to love. So yes, please watch it. And this has been another episode of Sub-Auteurs. Please check out our Facebook group. Sub-Auteurs, we like movies. We talk a lot of movie stuff and memes there. So please do join our little community and follow us on Instagram. Instagram.com/sub_auteurs. And with that, I am MJ.
I'm Misha.
And I'm Angel. Woohoo! Yay!
Sinabi mo
sa kanya na di
baliin.
Okay.
Any excuse to break into song with these people.
Ang tulad kong parang timang. Okay, bye!
Bye-bye.
Seriously, can we watch a local movie without a prosthetic penis?